Thought somebody would be on by now. Yeah. Oh. Ah.
Hello,
Hello.
good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Fine, thank you. How you doing?
Good, good, good.
Great.
Hmm.
Any problems logging on?
No, this time everything went perfect. Just right
Great,
in. So
great.
hopefully everybody will be fine.
Yes.
So, how has your week been?
Oh, it's been a crazy week. I'm glad it's a weekend. So,
Mhm.
how about
Okay.
you?
Yeah, same here. Um, Trying to catch up. I was in Ghana for 8 months in the lockdown, and I
Yes.
haven't caught up yet.
Oh, wow. There's always something to do, right?
Yep, yep, yep. Still trying to get rid of my backlog and get up to
Yeah.
speed. Yeah.
By the time you get caught up, it'll be time to go back to Ghana again.
Yes. Normally around this time I would be going.
Okay.
So since I just came back,
Yeah.
there's no way I'm going back right
It throws your schedule off, doesn't it?
now. I usually go twice a year.
Uh-huh.
For the last, I'd say the last 10 years or so.
Okay.
I've been going twice a year, and that's basically well, my mom is there as well, and so
Okay.
but I'm doing some projects there, and so I'm trying to relearn everything, the
How to
culture
operate in Ghana, right?
and
Yeah.
I
So,
left in 76, and
oh,
so
okay.
yeah, it,
Wow.
it it's been a while, and every time you go there it's definitely very different from what it was before I left, but
Yes.
I've been going back gradually, and so but I remember the shock uh, after I didn't go back for the first 13 years or so,
Uh-huh.
and when I went back
Mhm.
the first time I was totally lost.
Yeah. I think the thing that throws me off is, since we don't have street names, some of the landmarks that we
Yeah,
use, you go there and all of a sudden that landmark has
it's
changed.
not there, right?
Yeah. Like, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Hmm. Oh, I missed, well, as everybody was still waiting for people, I missed the meeting right
Oh,
after.
last Saturday.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh, Did we have an feedback on Nanankatia's?
Yeah, it was actually very, yeah, it was great feedback. It was very positive. you know, on all that.
Good.
And so yeah, I mean, he's a very powerful speaker. So
Definitely.
Hello.
yeah.
Hello.
Good morning.
Yes, indeed. Good afternoon.
Oh, good afternoon over there. Good morning here.
Yeah.
Uh,
Thank you.
How are you?
I can't complain too much. Just finished my kinky.
Ah, wow. Oh, yes. And here I am having coffee.
Yeah.
Mm.
That's good. Maybe I'll follow up with some coffee too.
Wash it down, eh?
Yeah. Wake myself up. Yes, indeed. Brother Yan says he's at a funeral.
Oh.
He plans to try and come in on time, but if not, then I guess maybe Brother Daniel, I don't know, you probably want to volunteer to introduce the program.
Okay, I mean, I can. Or do you think?
Yeah. I mean, you are very good with that, so.
Let me do
that.
this.
I don't know what you and moderator would like to do. Maybe give them to 10 minutes after, or maybe.
Yes, I think, yeah.
Okay, let me lower my volume.
Yeah, I'll be back in a second also.
Oh, our speaker is not on yet, so.
Okay, so I think I'm going to keep my promise. I'm going to make some coffee. So, oh yeah, Brother Yan is on. So.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah. Good afternoon. Good afternoon in Bolga.
Is he muted?
Good afternoon.
Oh, hello. Good afternoon and good morning.
Yeah. Good to see you. Good to see you.
I can't tell if our speakers are on yet, but I guess they have a bit of time to get on still. I reminded them yesterday and asked them to try and log on 10 minutes in advance.
Hello.
Hello, good morning, Brother Yan. Oh, he may be frozen.
Seems to be going in and out. Maybe the connection is not great.
Yeah. Network issues.
Yep.
Well, hello, Brother Yan.
I'll be going off and on. So if you don't see me, my phone. I'm at the funeral house.
Oh.
Okay.
How are we doing in terms of people joining. Do you know if the speakers are on yet? I don't see anyone.
No, they're not. So far, they're just the four of us. So,
Oh dear.
yes.
A slow start.
Yeah.
I know Professor Adade was, because he's out in BC, it means he has to actually get on for 6 o'clock their time.
Oh,
6
okay.
p.m.
Yeah.
So he's like, oh dear, I'm going to have to make sure I'm up early and in time. So I hope, I did send him a reminder yesterday as well. So yeah. I'm hoping that
he comes on, he makes it.
Yes. And I also have Linda Anaba, who will be the second person.
Okay, so that's, I think you sent me an email about that, so I didn't have him on there. Should have put that on. I think
that's okay. I emailed her, and she also responded to the reminder this morning, saying thanks for the reminder. So hopefully she will be here.
She's going to be on next week, the next one as well, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I think it was her and Cheryl Bafo were the ones.
Audrey Bafo. And now Audrey, I have to contact her again because twice in a row, she said she had a funeral. Her cousin had passed away, and that had kind of thrown her off a bit in terms of her focus. Okay. And so she had said she would be fine. In fact, she would prefer to be part of this one, but she was going to send me some information, but I didn't get hold of her this week at all.
Okay.
So I'll as soon as we're done this, I'll start contacting her to make sure she's available next week.
Good morning.
Good morning. Now, Professor Quist had also expressed an interest in participating again on the next one, but we'll see how it goes in terms of the time, because it's again very early, so he may change his mind on that. I don't know.
Yeah, he obviously doesn't like waking up so early in the morning.
Too early, yes, exactly. I was looking to make the next one sort of more participants touching on more topics. But we'll see. After this one, I'll see who's available. There's another contact that I was given, but he's also from the north, but I've had a very difficult time reaching him. So I'll continue to follow up with that, see if he will be available.
Is either today's or the next session going to address issues on child welfare?
Towards the end, I had that one for next week. But Linda is supposed to be on, and she is to speak on gender issues.
Okay.
And so that will raise some of those issues.
Some of those issues, yes, on child welfare.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Professor Adade is also he's going to touch on it, and Linda is going to speak on gender issues as well. And that may start. Linda's on. Okay. That may start on some of the child welfare issues. But next week, I hope to add more of that. Hello, Linda. Welcome. We're still connecting. Okay.
No, I asked about that, especially childcare, because I think it's a very fundamental issue and touches on a lot of economic matters for the family, for the nuclear family.
Yeah. I am trying to get hold of Audrey because that was her focus.
Hmm.
And she was supposed to be on, but she's not. But I believe Linda will touch on that as well.
Mhm.
Good morning.
Morning.
Yeah.
Yes.
You guys make me wake up very early.
We were just talking about that.
We're just talking about that. I know.
Yeah. And it's cold here too.
Oh boy.
Mhm. We're getting all the breeze from Alaska.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me give Professor Adade a call to see. I am going to, if he's having any issues. Oh dear. Hello, Dr. Dade. This is Phyllis Bourne calling from Ottawa. Today is the town hall that you are presenting at. It is 9:03 Eastern time. And I'm wondering whether you're able to get on. If you get this message, please check your email and log on as soon as you can. Thank you. Okay, well, Professor Adade isn't on, but Linda is on. And so we might have to change the order.
I see many mute. Is that supposed to be that way?
Well, yeah, we just
if you're not
muted.
speaking,
Okay, that's fine. As long as.
So, can you hear me? I'm Kofi Dazi. I don't want to show my dirty hair. So, but can you hear me? Am I on mute?
We saw the head, but we didn't see the dead.
Oh, okay.
No, we can hear you.
Okay, good. Thank you.
We don't see you though.
No, I don't want to show my face. Sorry.
Okay. So I've left a message. I just called Professor Adade's phone. As I said, it is very early out there right now. So he did express a little bit of concern. So Linda is on. So I will suggest that we can start with the program, and if Professor Adade is able to join, then he might.
Good. So in that case, then we'll ask
we'll
President.
reverse the order.
Yeah, we'll probably ask President of PhD, Mr. Yen to introduce the program by tradition.
About an hour.
Yeah, but Yen.
I didn't know you. But you didn't give me a time.
Daniel, is it possible you can reach Yen to?
Brother Yen is muted. Yen is muted. I don't know if he's.
Yeah.
To open the floor with the introduction.
I think he's having difficulty. Oops, what happened?
Okay. Then in that case, we'll probably have to ask Brother Daniel to give a brief introduction of what exactly we are doing.
Okay.
So Brother Yan is here.
Okay.
Is he able to?
Hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
This is, hello.
Yes, hello.
Sorry, excuse me. I'm saying that you are all welcome to this 8th session on social policy. Unfortunately, I am at my uncle's funeral now. I'm at the funeral ground. So if I'll be going off and on because the network is very bad. But I just want to say that, you know, I declare the meeting open. I mean, almost all of you on this know what PAG stands for. So I don't want to go into further details and talk about PAG, but suffice me to say that we want to build an alternative. You know, there are problems about the system, the economic system, the political, and the situation in the country. And we want to create a new society. By creating a new society, you need an organization, you need a vanguard movement, you need a mass organization. And that is what PAG is attempting to do. So without much further ado, I declare the meeting open. But as I said, I'm at the funeral grounds and the network is very bad, so I'll be going off and on. If I go off, it's for one of this organization that even I'm burying my uncle and I'm still on because we should be with the living.
No,
not
don't
with
do
the
that.
dead.
Don't do that.
So thank you very much. And then let's have a session. So over to you, Phyllis, to take us through for this meeting.
Okay.
Shelly, you are feeling sleeping. Go to
all.
Uncle room and sleep.
Thank you. Please. Okay. Well, welcome everybody once again, and thank you for joining us for our 8th town hall and the continued program on social and economic justice. We want to get right into the program. So the format was to have 2 speakers today. The first was to be Professor Dade, and then we would be having Ms. Linda Anaba. Unfortunately, Professor Adade, I think it's probably really early in DC right now. We haven't got him on as yet, but I did see Linda on. Linda, are you here?
I think she dropped off.
Oh dear.
Hey, I'm here. I'm here.
Okay, great.
It's very bad. So I have to put, we have to off our video.
Oh, the video. Okay, that's right. Well, I just wanted to make sure you're here because I'm going to have Linda start the program. I've put in a call to Professor Dade and hope that he will join us, but I wasn't able to speak with him in person. So, failing Professor Dade's attendance, we will go on with the program as usual, and Linda will give her presentation, and we will then open it to questions and answers and have our discussion session. Just a bit of housekeeping. Please, everybody make sure that you are muted unless you are speaking. You can unmute when you have to speak. You can also raise your hand or put questions that you might have in the chat box. And at the end of the 2 presentations, if we have the 2, then we will open it up to question and answers. Okay, so without further ado, is there anything else anybody had to say before I introduce Linda? Okay, well, here we go. So I want to introduce our speaker for today, Ms. Linda forgive me if I pronounce your name wrong, Nyama Anaba, from Upper East region of Ghana, is an enthusiastic Pan-African and professional social worker. She started working with young people at a very tender age of 16 as a volunteer to find temporary homes for street children in the Bolgatanga municipality. She soon realized they faced far more challenges than the lack of shelter over their heads. There were issues such as sexual violence, unwanted pregnancies, sexually transmitted infections, among other things. After graduating from university, Linda started moving from one lorry station to another, from school to school, giving lessons on sex education to young women. In 2016, Linda founded an organization called Society for Empowerment and Social Justice to help women and youth have a dignified and secure life through formal education, advocacy, and empowerment training. Her expertise is in peace building, youth empowerment, reproductive health, women and gender-related issues. She holds a degree in religious studies and geography from the Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences at Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, and she's currently studying for her Master of Arts in Sociology of Peace, Security and Human Rights at the University of Cape Coast in Ghana. In September 2019, Linda received a certificate of commendation from the US Embassy in Ghana for fostering gender equality in her country. She is determined to advocate for the rights of every woman, including those with disabilities, and is currently, among other things, working to revive the spirit of Pan-Africanism among young people across Ghana and beyond. Welcome, Linda. Please go ahead. Where is she?
Thank you very much, Felice. I think I would, yeah, okay. I'm very glad and pleased to be part of this wonderful program. And as you can see, we are 3 here. We have Bismarck Ayorogo and James Akoluko. We are sharing with each other the same computer, but the internet is a bit challenging. In case I go off,
oh dear.
Don't use the word off again.
Yes, right after she said that.
Oh dear. Okay.
Maybe she has to put the video off.
Can she do her presentation on audio?
Yes, maybe that will be the best when she comes, when we're able to get her.
We can message her. You just go on.
But
hello,
I'm now on audio.
Yes, it might be better to have you on audio. Okay, go ahead, please.
Okay, so I would like to talk much on gender-based violence, the impact on women in political Ghana today. And I would like to just do a 3 section presentation. My first presentation would be on physical violence among women, especially in COVID-19 and also a political year in Ghana. As we all know, COVID have come with so many difficulty, and one of the huge difficulty is lockdown. And as we all know, is have its negative impact mostly on women. And this is because most as we know, are already violated in ordinary time. And when lockdown came, the situation got worse. The recent June survey on domestic violence among women have tripled just for 3 months after lockdown by the UN survey, because lockdown came and most of us were in the house with our partners and our husbands, and it has affected so many people. And it's quite an unfortunate thing. Instead of us to be bonding as family, it rather came with violence, and it's something that we should be worried about. And now it is political year also in Ghana. And what I want to talk about is the women that are seeking political positions in our country today. I had the interest to just listen and also read comments on women that are into politics, and I was saddened. It broke my heart that in this 21st century, people will go to a woman's Facebook page or any social media page just because the person is looking for a political position to call the person very bad names. And the worst thing is prostitute, you are a prostitute. The other thing is, I'm sure you don't have a husband, that is why you are talking like this. And a lot of violent communications, insults are being made to women just because they want political position. And we have to think about what would happen, especially young people now. People like us, we are aspiring to go into politics. What can we, Ghana today, do to curb this violent behavior among people, not just men that are doing this insult, but we have women also with this type of insults to their fellow women just because they are in opposition or because they don't like that particular person. And as Ghanaians, concerned and progressives, we have to look at how we can encourage women into it and also discourage violent acts and behaviors on women because they want to get political positions. And another thing is women that go to rally now is worse because most they see them face to face and they feel like, you are a woman, what are you doing wanting to get political position? And it is worse when the woman is competing with a man in a different party. People don't listen to ideologies. They don't listen to what the woman is having for them, but they are looking at her as a biological figure and feel like it is not, this is not her place. Your place is in the kitchen, or your place is in taking care of the babies, but not in a rally center. And it is discouraging most women to be, and people don't know that it is violating their rights as women, as human beings. People don't understand that. And I listen to people on radio, on TV, and it is getting worse and worse. I think we would be more enlightened at this time to know that women can also equally hold a position just like their fellow men, but it is getting worse. And excuse me to use Trump as an example, even someone that we feel is the world superpower president was even against Harris, because not just because of anything, but just because she's a woman. And you see that he goes to rallies and talk bad things about her, not because of ideology, but just because of the biological features that the running mate is having. And it is worse if we as progressive cannot do something now. When can we change the atmosphere of women in politics? So it is time for us to see women just like men at an equal platform, to help and encourage the women that want to go into politics to go into, because it is something that is important for us, because we know the impact a woman can make in a political phase. So I want to talk more on that, and also the social impact. Now I hear of the new challenge women face socially. And just yesterday, I was privileged to be invited for a meeting in Tamale. No, it's rather in Wali Wali in the northeastern region, one of the newly created regions in Ghana. And they were talking about women empowerment. It was something that was on women empowerment. Just yesterday, I want to share the story. I saw a young, beautiful, newly born, newly married woman who was sitting outside, like isolated from the other women. So I got interested in, and I was like, oh, why are you not joining your other colleagues? We are starting the meeting, and I saw that she was timid. And the surprising thing I heard was, oh, we don't have, they are not welcoming me because I had a C-section, and they feel I'm not a woman enough. That is why I did not give birth myself, but I have a C-section. And I was really shocked that now we don't just discriminate women, not because they are not married, not because they are not giving birth to children, but because women have C-section to give birth. Now it's a new insult that is coming. And I was so disturbed. I'm like, wow, the first thing I asked was, so what would happen if you had not even given birth at all? That would have been worse. But this young lady have given birth, but they are, because it's C-section, she's being discriminated. She's being insulted because of that. And it is something new. This is not the first time. I heard so many stories about women that died because they don't want C-section, because their fellow women would not recognize them as women just because they did not give birth in the normal, let me in quote, normal way, but because they had a C-section. And it is something that we should be worried about and talked about, because it's something that we need to educate women in that. And the other thing I would like to talk about is young girls, the social media bullies on young girls. we should educate ourselves and also other progressive on how languages are made on social media on young girls. So many young girls have lost their life. They have committed suicide. Some are now into depression because of social media bullies. And it is something that is worrying. Now we have people, young people around that are working, but with very low self-esteem because of what somebody has told her on social media. And it is time we wake up to this call and do our best to help others also move out of it. And hello, is somebody, if somebody wants to say something, I can't.
No, you're okay. Go ahead.
Okay.
We'll
So,
take the questions later.
Okay. Okay, so it's something that I'm worried about, and it is something as PhD we should be talking about it, coming forward, moving forward is something that we should take time. We should take our focus to, so that women can be encouraged to be part of this progressive movement and other things. I just want to.
Hello.
Okay, so I would just want to say something with what is happening in Ghana. The majority leader is on record to have said the female running mate of the biggest opposition party can't be a president. That is a political figure who is talking here, somebody that young people look at as mentor. Some are looking at him as an intelligent person, but have said this just because the opposition party is not have not chosen a man, but rather a woman to run for president. So we can see where Ghana is going to. We always, I always sometimes believe that we are moving forward, but 2 steps backwards, just because of comments that we made. Even journalists, that people make so many bad comments on record just because the journalist says something that is not good, or that is not what they want to hear from the journalist. They say so many bad things about these people, and it is something that we should be careful on. And I just want to conclude, and we'll do the questioning, because so I want to encourage progressives like us to also encourage young people wherever we meet them to stand for their rights and to stand for political positions if they are interested in. We should encourage them and make them know that, yes, the challenges are there. We believe that it will not end today. People will not just get up one morning and feel like a woman should be equal to the man, but it is our education. We should educate them to do more, to come up, to challenge the status quo, and to stand for political or any positions that they want to stand for, even if it's not political, even the CEO or something, the bigger position in their offices. A woman should be bold enough to stand for that position. I wouldn't conclude without also highlighting on men. if we talk about domestic violence or violence in general, I don't want to believe that it's just women that are being violated, but men too are being violated. And their violence, they don't talk about it, also because they fear that society will violate them by calling them names because they are men and they are complaining about violence. But I would encourage that men are not supposed to be violated, just like women are not supposed to be violated. And men should talk about it. We have political figures that are, they are quiet because they feel they are in a higher position and they shouldn't complain if their wives or partners or even political mates are doing something that they don't feel is right. They feel like it's violence against them. They feel like they should, I feel we should talk about it. They should talk about it and it would help. And if we don't talk about it now, we can't talk about it when we are dead or when we are numb or something, we go into severe depression, we might not be able to talk about it. The other thing is people with disability have the same equal rights as any other person in the world. In Ghana, people with disability are just as equal as any of us. And it is time for us to encourage those people to enter into position to compete for what they feel they can do. If not, we would always see them as the vulnerable, the less privileged, the people that are supposed to be beggars, or the people that are supposed to be a second citizen, and that might not help. We have intelligent people that are physically or mentally disabled in one way or the other, and it is something that we should be careful and also encourage them to be part of any political positions that they would like to be part in. And the next thing, just to conclude on the domestic violence, we should also be considerate as intelligent and mature people on domestic workers in our homes. Now we are recording so many increase in violence among domestic workers. Our health, our nannies are as important as we are. They even work more. If we calculate the number of hours that they work in a day, they work more, but people don't see them as anything just because they are we pay them. We feel like they are domestic workers and they should take anything that we give them. An example is last week I had the privilege to work with women in prison, and last week I was in the Tamale women prison. I have been working with them for some time. And there was this woman who was supposed to be, who was being jailed. It was supposed to be 6 months for stealing 200 Ghana cedi from her boss. And because of COVID, she went to prison in February. And because of COVID, she has not been released yet, because the court or somebody somewhere was not working because of COVID. And she was still in prison just because she took 200 Ghana cedi, and she did not, I don't call it stealing, because for 6 months, this person have not paid her. And she took this 200 Ghana cedi because the daughter was sick and she was not having money to send this her daughter to the hospital. So she was cleaning the boss's room and saw money and took 200 Ghana cedi from that money. And she is still in prison. As at last week, she is still in prison because she took 200 Ghana cedi from her boss, who was supposed to pay her about 1,600 Ghana cedi. So we can see the injustices that is happening in Ghana today because of lack, I don't know whether it's lack of education, it's just sheer wickedness that people have because they have a social class, they have money, and they can do anything to women or even people lesser than. And we should be careful with that. So I would like to end on the violence here and talk more on security also. Ghana is at a time bomb as at now, as at today. And if we are monitoring the media, the social media, the television station, and a whole lot, we would see that, just a minute. I can see somebody on my screen. Is it possible to put your video off? Somebody is eating. Is it possible if you can put your video off? Is it Nalu? Lillian? Lillian, can you put your video off? I'm getting distracted here. Hello?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, I would like, the security risk is very high. And we all know that when we have any type of conflict in Ghana, it doesn't just affect men, but it affects women. And Ghana's political year is very scary. Sometimes I close my ears just because I see the implications, the security implications. Some statements are made on social media. I feel so afraid of it. And the security here, we are so vulnerable. Like the whole nation is a hot zone, especially these few days to election. And I am so worried. I wish we can have something now that would help us, help politicians pledge for security, to pledge for peace and security during and after the election. I was hoping it would be done in with the National Peace Council, but it was not. I wouldn't say it's done because the bond that they signed was on vigilantism, not on dispute or conflict in our districts or our regions. And we have seen that people are warming up to do anything if the election doesn't come their way. And women are going to be the most affected because most of them cannot run to any place without their children, without their mothers or even their husbands. Women are going to be in danger when there is something, when there is any security threat or risk in the country. And it is something that is still happening. People are saying we have tribal incitement, we have a party incitement, we have even land dispute that politicians are using in this political season to incite people. And it is something that is unfortunate. And as moving forward, I wish that if we can make a statement, maybe PAG or any progressive movement can make a statement now for political parties, all the political parties, not just the two major parties, but all the political parties, if we can make a statement to tell them to either pledge a peace pledge or something that would scare them, I might not say scare, something that will minimize violence when the elections are being counted, or the election doesn't go into in the favor of somebody. If that person would accept and let it be, it would help, because we are so much in danger because of what is happening, and because politicians have the anyone like the winner takes all mentality. People are also being scared, and people are ready to die for a political party, which is very, very unfortunate. I see now in Bolga, I'm monitoring people on social media and even on the ground, just in Bolga town. I hear last week some people, some NDC boys and MPP boys had a clash. And I was expecting the media to discourage what was happening, but they were rather finding fault in one political party, and which is so unfortunate. Even though maybe the media station is pro one of the parties, it was something that I was expecting the media to say no to it, but they were there, the panels were discussing whose fault it is, who shouldn't be the case. And security is very, very important, no matter what. If a politician wins the election and we are not secured, it would not help us. If everybody dies after election, I'm not sure the president can rule anybody in the country. But it is something that people are not ready to listen. And I hope we get a peace statement, a peace pledge for all political parties to sign before the election takes off in 7th December. So I would like to end here and maybe wait for questions. And if there's also other recommendations or contributions on violence, gender-based violence in political Ghana today, we can talk more on it as the meeting progresses. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you, Linda. Thank you for a very detailed in terms of the cross section of issues that you've covered here on gender-based violence and the political system in Ghana. So we will open it up to questions. As I mentioned, Dr. Adade is not here. And so I will contact him, and perhaps he will be on our next one instead. So we will have questions and open discussion on some of these issues that have been raised. Is there anybody, were you able to cue the questions?
Yeah, I can see Comrade Eugene's hand.
Okay.
Oh, no, it's just a clap. I was clapping for you. I'll put it down.
Yes, that's what I thought it was. Any questions at the moment?
Well, I would probably want to, not so much a question, but
comments, yes.
Yeah, but a comment. I mean, I think I'm very struck by Linda's presentation, you know, at an emotional level, because this is 20,
And she describes the situation, which is very oppressive for women in Ghana. You know, in the midst of all our technological advancements and all of this, what struck me most was, especially, of course, the business about cesarean sections and women being stigmatized because they've had a cesarean section, which just shows us the amount of work we have to do really in educating young people, both young men and young women, very early, in a very science and data-based way. We all have seen in the United States what denial of science has done to this country currently. And it seems that there is a real big scope of work that has to be done. And I hope that what we've been discussing in terms of youth education groups is something that this will spur us on very quickly to get on the ground, because you have a very short space of time to mold minds of young people. And once you miss that window, they begin to think in a certain way, and it's very difficult for them to begin to unlearn the things that, negative things that they have learned. The other piece was the woman who was in custody. This is also a very common issue, which is sort of very feudal in the way it plays out, where employers don't pay people, or they have female employees that, which Linda didn't get into, but they take sexual advantage of them instead of paying them a salary. And later on, if the person reacts to it, then they end up getting punished or getting ostracized. So these are, you know, so it's an important labor issue, which I've seen in Ghana a lot, where people work, then the employer says there's no money, but they will give them a meal or they will give them something else, which really doesn't equate to the value of their labor. So that was another thing that struck me, which I think merits some discussion within our organization and how we might begin to approach these issues. Thank you.
Brother Kwesi Budu has his hand up, and after that, Brother Akwesi Edu after that, and then Dr. Atampugri after that. So, Brother Kwesi Budu.
Go ahead.
You're muted. Brother Kwesi, you're muted.
Unmute.
Oh, okay. Excuse me. Hi. I'm really inspired by your presentation, Linda. You know, I come to it almost from a personal angle. In 2 weeks, I'm going to be turning 70 years old. There are many comrades on this call at this meeting with whom we struggled back in the 70s, Yen, Atams, and so many more. And the big question for us, for me, is how can the younger generation and our generation, if we are lucky with 20 more years and that's it, how can the two generations, younger and our generation, combine ourselves in a struggle? How can we inspire you and how can you inspire us? How can we struggle together, get more young people and more older people together in order to share hindsight, insights, and foresights, the past, the present, and the future as we build or rebuild the movement for social justice and equity in our new world. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Brother Kwesi Budu, I think, yeah.
Yeah, okay. I'm back, I'm here. My question for everybody, and I wanted to congratulate Linda for a brilliant presentation. Okay, but my question has always been, or my discussion, my comments is based on the traditional system that we have in place for a long time, This is the way we do things. And the current political system where the government is supposed to enforce certain things. Okay. I grew up a long time ago too. I hear somebody said in a few weeks he'll be 70. I'm 74. Okay, so I've seen things. I may be handsome to you guys, but I'm old. Okay. But the traditional system allows certain things to happen. And the last time I asked Dr. Nana Kobna Ketia, how do we use the traditional system to also enforce certain things in the country? Okay, and I don't think the traditional system is now respected to the point where the chiefs are not involved in some of these things that are going on within their communities. Everything has been taken away from them to the how do you call these people, the DCs and all of these things. But how do we get the traditional leaders to also speak about some of these topics that go on within their community, like the abuse of young women? We saw where on video, a woman was beaten because the community accused her of being a witch. And there were people standing around, hundreds of people standing around. And I believe there is a chief in that town. But these things go on. Okay, and I'm not talking about just the abuse of women only in homes. But as Linda said, even on the jobs, I have friends who always complain about managers who want to sleep with them. These are things I think a person like Linda, I see as a potential leader in the future if we ever come into power. But how do we combine the two? I just wanted, okay, if a woman is put in prison for doing something like that, okay, at least make her pay back the 2,200 cedis, but not keep her in prison for 6 months and more, maybe. So how do we, Linda, if a person is, the redress, I know the Ghana police system. You can't go to the police and report anything for a police officer to take charge. He doesn't even have the telephone to communicate or the transportation to go to the home. The police is not involved in any of these domestic issues. If you report, you are just talking to the air. Okay, so in your area, do these young women have any, any road, any avenue where they can go to the law enforcement and at least make a complaint? I know I'm being silly, but if I hear something like this and somebody is beating my mother and we're standing around, in America, somebody will pull a gun and shoot you, plain. You cannot abuse somebody's mother, accuse her of doing something like that, and you have 100 people standing around. I can tell you that in America, somebody will kill you 100 times over. Okay, but we allow these things to go on from politicians who've taken the country for granted. And I grew up under Nkrumah. And some of the leaders who came up, we didn't hear these things about the first Ghana Minister of Education. She was a woman. She was even a Northerner. And no such complaints. Nobody made any complaint about her being unqualified for the position she was put in. But it seems to be the norm. If you're a woman, anybody can do anything to you. Even if you have cesarean section, they can abuse you for not being a woman enough to have birth the natural way. And these are medical issues. So we as a government, if ever we come in, and I believe we will someday, there should be a system where the police and the local communities and the chiefs have to be empowered all the way down to the bottom. If we're talking about decentralization, that is how I see it, where the local chiefs are also involved, the local leaders are involved, because nobody is teaching the kids any morals in school anymore. Nowhere. Nothing is being taught. So, Linda, I know you are working with prisoners. You go to the prison and you talk to them and all of that. But the legal system for anybody to choose, to even appeal through the small claims courts, I don't think we have any. We don't have anything like that. So I thank you for I'm listening just like everybody's listening. And some of these things are just, I had one of the girls who was taking care of my aunt. She was an Eve. Most of these girls were, and the girl was afraid to say, oh, even in school, they make fun of her because she's Eve. And when she told me her name, I said, what's your name? And she told me, she followed that up by, oh, but I'm an Eve. You know, and she was like, she felt inferior as a person. So it's a decay of the national fabric, the system of our culture. We followed it and we followed it and we followed it without making any changes, improving for the next century or even the next decade. We've been doing things the same thing. And now it's like we have so much problem, we don't even know where to start to fix it. Because what Linda is talking about, it has a source. That source starts from our culture. So if we're talking about building a culture of our heritage culture, these are some of the things we have to talk about. We have to go down to the village, to the towns and all these people and let people understand that regardless who you are, your family connections and all of that, nothing will save you by the law. If you want to go by the law, we will enforce the law. That's who we are. We're a law enforcement party. I don't want any of us to bite our tongue saying that we will enforce the law, because I see it in Accra. And if it happens in Accra, a city of 3 million, then what do you think it will happen in the villages where there is no law enforcement or anything like that? So, you know, I want to end up here by saying that, you know, it's something the government has to take over. And the government has to enforce the National House of Chiefs and all of that, deal with them to solve some of these problems for us. So I thank you very much, Linda, for giving such an in-depth analysis of the situation in Ghana. Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Kwesi. Before I call on the next person, I just want to add to what has just been said, that a lot of what we are talking about is also about civic education and how we go about basically disseminating all this education and information about the roots of where a lot of these problems have come from. The fact that we are moving into a global community, seeing that a lot of our institutions have been imported, as was explained in our last social justice town hall, and how we think about it and how it has impacted our cultural institutions, where we are going and where we've come from, and how we get back with a balance of the types of institutions that we have. For instance, in this issue that Linda raised about this young lady who is who took the 200 cedis. Now, we look at it and we see that it is an injustice. However, she had no other avenue to complain about the fact that she wasn't getting paid. Could we have, or do we have, community-based or some other enforcement protection that can be set up for, you know, this type of situation? Because they fear being stigmatized or ostracized. In Ghana, we have the whole issue of ageism, in terms of someone being told that they are disrespectful just because they want to enforce their rights. So all of these type of things, as we spoke of right at the beginning, we have a long list of social and economic justice issues that we really need to delve into, relating it to our original culture and traditions, the belief systems that people have, and how we go about educating and changing that. I think it is indeed an enormous task that we have ahead of us. Okay, thank you. Go ahead with the next question.
Dr. Atempugre is next, and after that, Aloga. So Dr. Atempugre, you have the floor.
Okay, thank you very much, Linda. It's good to hear your voice. Philosophers have always interpreted the world. The point, however, is to change it. The situation you describe is very depressing, but we cannot continue to agonize. We have to find a way around to making sure that the PAG is different, in making sure that it comes out with clear policies and programs that will reverse what is a very, very bad situation. What is worrying is that it doesn't seem to be getting better despite enormous efforts by developmental organizations, etc. It's understandable because the power relations are such that social inclusiveness comes second place to making money. The role women played in our struggle for independence has somehow not been given any dominance at all. But the point I want to make over here is that, look, we have to start looking introspectively and ask and answer the question, going forward, how is PAG going to ensure that as it grows and matures, it is inclusive enough to reflect the broad spectrum of members of society? Linda, you know quite well the efforts that we've been trying to make to broaden the involvement of women in social justice movement. And I must say that it is a challenge that we cannot give up, but we have to find ways to make this happen. And I would like to encourage members on this platform, if they could form a task force to try and work out in what way can we broaden the PAG, especially at the leadership level, to have a more inclusive membership that will ensure that going forward, the political program, the activities that are undertaken, give priority of place to some of the issues that Linda has raised. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And then Aloga is next. He had his hand up. Brother Aloga, you have the floor. And you're muted, so please unmute yourself.
Are you there?
Yes, he is, but he's muted. So, Brother Aloga, please unmute yourself. We can't hear you. Brother Aloga, you're muted. You're muted. Unmute yourself. Okay, there you go.
Hello.
Yes, now we can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to make some observations. This discrimination against women is a serious matter. And one of the things that I've observed is that it is not just the ordinary people who are at it. Some very senior and prominent people have not shown any good example in this area at all. For example, President Rawlings. I remember maybe 2 years ago at a rally, completely, I mean, it was so embarrassing. He said some very nasty things against the then vice chairman of the NDC, one woman called D'Souza, if I'm correct. The name, I think, is D'Souza. He just completely humiliated her. And I thought that the party, the NDC party, or maybe the Minister for Gender and Equality would have taken him on. But nothing was said about it. I don't know whether you comrades will remember this particular incident. I was so incensed that I included this thing in one of my articles, which I wrote about Rawlings. Then you've got President Nana. I believe he was at a conference abroad somewhere, and he made a very derogatory statement against women. And one of the panelists actually took him on that. I believe the press in Ghana covered it for about a few days, and then that was it. Then you've got the scandal of the sex for grades. So we're talking of university professors here. So the whole abuse is so endemic and so culturally ingrained, to the extent that if we're looking at ways of solving the problem, it's got to be from various angles. And we should not think that we can solve it so easily. We have to get the press involved, make sure that the journalists are aware of this problem, and be prepared to call these things out when they do occur, no matter who is at fault. And the politicization of the issue too should stop. So that if, for example, the issue is raised in a particular area, the other side should not, try to defend it by all means. I also think that the Ministry of is it Equality and Diversity? I'm not very familiar with the names of the ministries, but there's one ministry that is responsible for domestic violence and so on. They should be given more power to be able to prosecute, when these things occur, instead of maybe going through the traditional sources of prosecution. And I also think that the women's groups should, come together. There should be education. The NCCE or the organization that the civil education ministry, it's not a ministry, but it's a Kwango, should, organize the women in such a way that they are able to advocate for themselves. You see, and I also think that maybe there should be some lobbying to make sure that Parliament institutes some kind of a positive action in certain areas for women, to make sure that women are able to get more positions in more prominent places. For example, there should be maybe a quota for the number of women MPs and things like that, and ministers. When a party wins power, how many women are put in positions and so on. And then even possibly in terms of education, why can't this free education scholarships, for example, for the young girls and so on to, be able to have education so that they'll have a better ways of ensuring their livelihoods? Because most of the time it is the young girls that are not able to go to school and they end up, basically, if you like, being abused by middle-class men who wield the economic power. So I think it should be coming from all angles. I'm not able to articulate it at the moment properly, but it's all over in my head. You see the abuse happening. I've got daughters, so it's a personal. I've got daughters and I've got granddaughters as well. So it's a very personal issue for young girls to be abused in the way that they are. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Brother Eugene, you're next.
Thank you so much. As a teacher over the past 20 years, when I hear Linda's presentation, I consider it voices from the trenches. Thank you so much, Linda. And as you can see, we're all emotional because we have daughters, we have aunties, we have mothers. The whole system is broken. And we all know that. That's the reason why PAG is up and trying to find ways and means of helping our people. It is a Herculean task, we all know, but something has to be done, and we have stepped up to do that. The legal system is broken, the judges are corrupt, the police are corrupt, lawyers are corrupt. What can we do about that? Brother Budu, at the end of his comment, asked Linda what we can do. If, for instance, the lady who is in prison right now just for 200 Ghana cedis, is there a system, Linda, maybe all over Ghana as PAG that we can put in place? It's a support system, legal support system, just altruism, so that such individuals who are being victimized, who are being taken advantage of, can be supported in a way. And I think one of these things should be on our agenda. We have very good people who can step up and help without having to be paid for what they are doing. And this is what I believe we are standing for. The fact that the chief no longer wields any power gives opportunities and impunity on the part of those who take on such ventures. They prey on these innocent little girls. They prey on women because they are powerless. But I think we can do something, policies, education. But the accountability is huge. And that's where we are handicapped. And we should be taking a look at that too. Thank you.
Okay. Is there anyone else who has a comment or a question? Okay. Well, I think this has been, as everybody has said, has been a very personal and emotional presentation for each and every one of us. There is a lot that has come out of it and a lot that we can see has to be done. And we don't have all the answers, but I think once again, the depth of the presentation is going to help the PAG basically set a direction and set up our policies. So at this time, I will hand is Brother Yen still on? I think he's at the funeral, right? So who do I hand it back to close the meeting?
Brother,
Oh.
yeah. Okay. Yeah, Brother Daniel.
Okay.
Okay. Well, thank you all very much for coming. As we've said, this is it's been an eye-opening experience. We know there's a lot of work ahead of us. We should not be overwhelmed, because I think if we do, then it gets worse. Right? So the purpose of these town hall meetings are to find ways to create a platform to address these important issues that affect us. So these are all learning experiences. We should take those and use that to guide us on how we can address some of these problems. Our next meeting is going to be the first weekend in December. I don't know what the date is, but the flyer will be going out. So please look out for that. The 5th, December 5th. Okay. It will be another aspect of social justice. So thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you again next time.
What, we closed already? I was enjoying it.
Well, we can continue the discussion if you want.
Yes, of course.
If you have any comments.
We were hoping to have Dr. Adade, but it looks like he hasn't been able to join us. But certainly we can continue the discussion, because there is a lot. I mean, we had hoped to actually speak on employment issues and childcare issues as they impact workers. We will be dealing with all of that hopefully next time. But yes, it is early. We can, if people want to stay on and continue the discussion, that's fine. Those who have to leave, of course, have to leave.
Yeah, okay. From what Linda has said already, she's working as an NGO, right? And she started by herself without any help. I know maybe that's what she did. But one person, as we say, one person can make a change. About the only thing that a person needs is the support from the community, from the people who are involved. When I visit Ghana, what I learned, everybody has said it, it's not one issue, it's a multiple issues. If you're talking about sanitation, it's abuse. We may not even look at that. You cannot send a child to go to a market, underage person. Most of the children that I see in Ghana, I think we have to stop this system where a family, a parent can send their children. They have a system in the Volta region. They call it Trokosi. Trokosi is a system where a child is sent to work in payment of a debt that the family member has incurred in the past. And that child is supposed to work until that debt is paid off. Until the debt is paid off, she's forever a slave to that family that the money was borrowed from. such a systems are within the society. You know, Park has to have a system. And we know Nkrumah said something about it. As much as he loved the chiefs, he even said, he made a statement, everybody was angry at him, that he's going to make the chiefs run without their sandals or something like that. Okay. Because, yeah, I respect the chiefs. All of us fought very hard that everything that we're doing here is for the chiefs and the people of Ghana. Okay, we cannot go in and change a system which is traditional. It's been around for a long time. But we can make a rule that no child should be a maid to anybody who is under 18 years. And then even before a child is made a maid, a person is made, they have to have a contract. We can draw some contract that this person is getting paid every month. Every month, you know, she doesn't live for free and live with you. It's not happening only in the Volta region within Trokosi, but it's all over Ghana. So we have to devise something that will deter the adults and the families also from doing that, because we take it for granted. You know, we take it for granted for a child 6 or 8 years to be living with a family, working as a maid. That should cease. That should cease. It has to be a law. You know, and Nkrumah did most of these things, no child left behind. That is a way of stopping parents from using their own children, even in domestic cases, you know, as farm laborers. That's why polygamy, Nkrumah banned it. One man, one wife. You know, you cannot just abuse children. It is done all over the country where people marry children as young as 9 years. They are committed to marry this man and he abuses them. And there's no system, you know, nowhere for anybody to go and make a complaint either to the chiefs or to the police or what. There's a Ministry of Gender and something in Ghana. Who takes responsibility for these children? You know, so I'm very particular about that, you know, using our own young women who have the potential to go on to become at least nurses, phlebotomists. It's not a small profession for somebody, a shameful profession for somebody to go into even be a seamstress. Seamstress used to be a very noble profession in Ghana, and it is. Okay, but children should have some scale to avoid parents and families using them as child labor or maids or things like that. And I'm very particular about that. And I'm concerned about that too, that we find a system where, you know, you don't send any child to go to the market walking about a mile or so to go and buy just tomatoes. This child should be in school. Okay, children are not our maids, and then to be abused on top. So that's something that I wanted to get on. And I think we can get into more details about any of the topics that Linda raised that we're talking about, because a social justice system that we want to you know, establish is broad, very, very broad. Handicap. Who in Ghana even think about employing a handicapped person? No, you are handicapped for life. You know, you are regarded as no good. You're not, you know, useful to society. I mean, which house in Ghana is built with, or even public housing constructed with an access for handicap houses? No, if you're handicapped, hey, you have to find a way, somebody to carry you around. You cannot do anything by yourself. The issues are so many. There are so many. So, you know, I thought we were going to use even 2 hours to discuss the issues, but I think most of us have gotten the idea that, you know, if we want to establish a society, we have to look at it and go down to where it will become part of our culture. We're trying to change that culture of abuse. You know, boarding schools and all of these things, we go to school and we learn how to wake up in the morning, clean our toilet, make, you know, everybody who went to boarding school, regardless of who your father is, you are a freshman, we call it what? Homo. You clean the toilet, you clean the bathroom, it's assigned to you. But then when we graduate and we come out, we lose all of these things. Nobody take it further, that we can even clean our cities and do something to improve. You can go to Ghana and see any improvement. Kaneshie had lived there for how many years? And some of the baller that was piled up in the streets are still sitting there, and women are selling around it. That's abuse by the city council.
Phyllis,
okay.
Can I?
I think it would be good to have everybody also chip in.
Yeah.
Everybody who is here, so we can, get a range of ideas.
Yes. Okay.
I want to make a suggestion. Based on everything we are hearing, and some of us know the information that is being talked about, and some of us don't, and it's such a wide variety of issues. I want to make a suggestion that we put down the known issues that each person is aware of. Linda has raised certain broad strokes, but I think we need to get down to the specifics as well, that we can focus on the certain traditions, as we've spoken of, certain traditions that exist. They exist in one area, but not in another. And I think we need to get all of these things together. Of course, we may never cover everything, but it would be helpful to start gathering a lot of these specifics, whether it's in a database of some sort or in a book of traditional practices that we want to tackle and actively find a way of educating to change the psyche of the Ghanaian society and turn things around in that way. But we need to have a focused, I guess, the focused, itemized activity that creates that injustice, so that we can actually zoom in on it, on how we break it down to change it. Because we're talking a lot about it, and I think it gets all over the place, and everybody's frustrated about it. Everybody wants it to be changed, and everybody realizes we're talking about community organizations with individuals pulling people together and so on. But it would be helpful to actually start collating the various things that we want to specifically tackle, and then we could perhaps know how to group them and tackle them. If anybody has a view on what I'm saying, if it makes sense.
Yeah, I would say, Phyllis, I would say that the diagnosis is a bit too much. We know what the problems are. We know and that's 50% of what's required. To solve a problem, you have to know the problem, but it's only 50%. What we need to hear at this forum are what are the practical things we can do to organize, to educate, to make the change that needs to happen. So I will focus on the prescription. We've done the diagnosis. We know the prognosis is not good if it's not solved. So diagnosis, yes, prognosis, yes, but the prescription is where we need to focus a bit more
on. I will agree with what you're saying. However, I think we still need to document the issues in order to attack directly how we're going to basically be able to measure that it is getting dealt with and changed.
Absolutely, I agree with you. I wasn't saying we shouldn't. We need domains. We need to have a sense of domains, and then we focus on solutions.
Okay. Any other comments, additions, subtractions?
Can I make a comment on, I think, our first or second person that suggested on the combination of younger and older generation. I feel we can do much if the younger ones are ready to learn from the older ones, and the older ones are
Uh-oh. Linda, it looks like your network is playing up again and we are not hearing you.
Been a gap I feel with experience that is fine. Okay, good. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes,
Yes.
we can hear you.
Can you hear now? Okay.
Yes.
Yes. There's a vast gap between the older and younger generations. I think mostly because the younger generation find older knowledge to be waste knowledge because of the internet or what they see now. They feel like what is old now is useless. But we don't know that that is the original, that is the root of everything. And what we can do is to show, the older can show the younger that without the old, the new would not exist. Take us as mentees, where I am privileged to have so many like Atams and Yen and a lot of you that I learned from. I learned also from people that are not directly here, but I enjoy how the experience that older people had and how it can help me as a young person. But it is unfortunate that most older people also find it, excuse me to say, intimidated by the younger generation because of what they feel they know, especially from the internet and other things. And it discourages them from helping us. But if we show that the older is good, they would come, we can be under you for you to mentor us to become responsible citizens. If we don't have that that encouragement, if we don't have okay, I'm confusing with the word, but if we don't salivate to go and sit under the feet of the older, it will be difficult for the older and the younger to merge. So I feel it is time for us to do that. Maybe we as a PAG can put it in our distance, our policy that every older person should have maybe 2 or 3 mentees under them, that the younger can learn whatever they want to know. They can reach out to these people and those people can help. If we start that, it will start to draw younger people closer to the older. And I think at the end, we would get a much success than what is now happening. The internet is good, but not everything that we learn from it is actually the truth. And not everything there is for our benefit, because we know now that the bourgeois is controlling the internet, and there are certain things that they will not put in the internet for us to know the truth, but rather they will put something different. But if we see it or we hear it from the original source, from the older generations, it will help us a lot. Another thing is, if PAG can make available certain books that can help the younger generations to read it would also help us a lot. We have people, we have younger people, even though how younger people are reading these days is low, but there are other younger people that still want to read. If we can get original books, if we can get progressive books available for some of us to read, it will help a lot, because these books might not be on the if we are going to buy it from, have the monies to buy, it will make us fall back to the light. Can you hear us? Can you hear me?
We can hear you now. Yes,
My,
you're right.
Yeah.
You're fine.
So
You're fine.
it will help us to do more if we can get books from you guys to also encourage us to learn more from you. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, Linda. Well, just to follow up on what Linda has just given, in terms of getting books and not having people, some people want to read, some don't. Today, I think it's easy to have audiobooks. So one of the projects may be that PAG can engage in some of the older books. I don't know, we might have to get permission from publishers, or whether it's just going to be available to engage in committing some of these older books into audiobooks that can then be disseminated. And it will get people listening to the information if they don't want to read. Sometimes it's easier to get the information in listening to it read by somebody else. I think there's a lot of audiobooks around today as examples.
Yeah, let me add a little bit more. You know, I think I want to say we intend to start that heritage education program. Okay, back in the day, every evening we had storytellers, older people who sat with us in around the fire, and basically that was ethical or moral education. The stories of Kuku and Nancy always ended with a moral, lesson, for us, for the kids. We didn't take that further. Reading books is okay. Having tablets in your hands and reading by yourself in a corner, it's okay to get that information, but we want to change a culture, the culture of irresponsibility within our society, where people are, made fun of and people are discriminated against and all of that. That will come from the leaders, the leaders of the society that are within the community, that we want to mentor the children. So if we can have learning centers, meeting centers, meeting places where we can have just a conversation with the people. Nobody's coming in as a PhD to educate the people, but to have a conversation, town hall meeting type, okay, where we can have some elders in the community, men and women, to have conversation with the children and to, tell them about the consequences of breaking the law, because everything that we're talking about here depends on the enforcement of law enforcement. If we want to stop discrimination, how do you tell people to respect young women? We have to be able to tell a whole group of people. So I'm for that heritage education where we can use it merely as a conversation, have adults within the society, to do some of these presentations that we do over here. I think that will have a greater impact than to have a library, because if you send books to Ghana, it may not be returned to you. People will come and borrow them, and what are we doing with that? It's a good idea to have libraries for students to, to go and do their homework and study and things like that. But to change the nation and the youth, the coming up, I think we have to do a face-to-face group education. Okay, so it's something that I think we can think about, in drawing the policy statements that Phyllis is talking about. How we're going to do it, that Dr. Akwesi is talking about. How we're going to do it. It has to be. I suggest we do have a practical way of talking to people, the youth, and show them these are the consequences. It's not always going to have to be imprisonment, but imprisonment is a consequence of doing something wrong. Sometimes you don't even do anything wrong. Here in America, I know that, but you end up in prison anyway. But prison term or anything that you do has a consequence. So if we instill that in the youth, then maybe 20 years from now, we'll have a change. Because as they say, you cannot teach any old, new tricks to any old, whatever you say that. So I'm very big on that heritage program that we want to start. I just want to see us be able to start it and use it to have an impact on our society. Because we cannot pinpoint one area. If we talk about one area, we're talking about education. But education, we've talked about it already. When they finish, they have to go on to something else. If we don't provide anything for them to go into, then education is useless. Then quick money making will be the alternative. Okay, how can we make money quickly? Things like that. So, it's systematic, gradual improvement of the society from childhood to adulthood, from the cradle to the grave. Thank you very much. I'm getting tired now.
Any other comments or contributions?
Yes, can I make a comment, please?
Go ahead.
Yeah.
What is your name, please?
My name is Budasi Mariam.
Okay, Mariam, okay.
Uh-huh. Yes, I think what the gentleman has said about education is really very important, and also life experience with the adults is really important. The point is, how do you implement that? That is one of the problems right now, is that there's a division or a dichotomy between the elders and the youths. Yes. So how do you propose to merge the two so that they become valuable to each other?
Yes, that is the dilemma.
That is a big dilemma.
If I can add my 2 pence to it, it's a very important question. And I always say that we, the older ones, should give our mint. Mint is an acronym I created. Mint, IMNT. Mint stands for our money, our ideas, our network, and our time. And those mint assets are very valuable. We don't like to talk about money because we think then it becomes a money game. But money is required for a lot of what we need to do to organize. So we should think as a collective, think of a fund that can be established. Those of us who are super lucky or privileged to make contributions to it. Our ideas, I think we've got a lot of ideas at the table. The older ones have incredible hindsight and insight, and definitely some foresight about their legacy, what they would like to leave behind when life comes to an end. And so they have a lot of ideas they can contribute. And our networks are valuable because that's one way of taking any small step we take to scale. Any small thing we do has to be scalable, and networks help. Constructive networks, progressive networks. And then our time, as we are doing now. I'm so inspired that, in fact, most of the older people decided to stay on after this meeting, even though our elder says he's getting tired, he's still with us. And that commitment of time is really very valuable. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Can I just interject?
Go ahead.
Can I? Yes. One of the things I've been thinking about. Okay, let me introduce myself properly. I was born in Jamaica. I've been in Ghana for the past 18 years. I repatriated to Ghana as my homeland. Yes. So I am basically Caribbean diaspora. One of the things now, particularly in this time, that I thought my grandparents were invaluable was when I was in Jamaica as a child, and my grandmother was able to, any illness, go down to the bush and bring something wonderful and brew it up and give you, and you feel much better. I think now this is a time where the elders need to be able to educate the youngsters as to what is available. Because, we've got this pandemic coming on, and yet Africa is not suffering as Europe is or America. Yes, why? Because we have all the remedies here, but the youngsters don't know about it. It's the older generation that knows about it. So how do we transmit those knowledge to the youngsters? That is something, that's one thing we have to start looking at. How do we transmit those information to the youngsters? Yes, for them to know that, they don't have to go to the pharmacy for every headache or every pain they have. The remedy is right in their back garden. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sure.
So I think that is so important. God has given us everything we need. We don't need the pharmaceuticals. Yes, everything we need is here for any headaches, for any pains, or any delimitations, anything. But the youngsters are not learning it, and our elders are dying with that knowledge. So the problem is, how do we get that information transmitted so the youngsters know all these things? Now that's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's an interesting.
You are Ghanaian because most of the Black people in Jamaica came from Ghana.
Yeah,
exactly.
And when I went to Montego Bay and Akompon Town,
yeah,
it was all Ghana.
Yeah. Well, I'm from Trelawney, and Trelawney is basically known for Maroon Town.
Yeah.
It's a maroon town in Trelawney, where we have Nani, Kojo, Achampong, etc., etc. So
yeah.
I believe wholeheartedly that my family, my ancestors were from Ghana. And myself and my husband repatriated. We are both Jamaicans, repatriated to Ghana about 18 years ago. And we've been here and been settled and quite happy. But my thing is, I regret that I did not take notice of my grandmothers when they were coming with the bushes and with the barks and with the whatever for the ailments that I was suffering as a child. I regret that, you know, and I think now this is giving us time. It's giving us time to reflect on how we can get this information to our children. Because our elders are dying with this information and it's not transcend down. So our children, our youngsters are going to the pharmacy for every aches and pain, and there's no need. Yeah. Anyway, that's my thoughts.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think what is it, Miriam? Oh,
yeah, Udasi.
Udasi. Okay. I think based on what you're saying, it goes back again to the heritage clubs and heritage programs that we're talking about. And I would add that it also speaks to the whole concept of we need to give our mint, as Brother Kwesi spoke about.
Akwesi is Akwesi.
It's Akwesi. Okay.
Yes.
Oh, you okay? I'll get it right eventually.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, because as part of the mint, maybe we need to create a program or incorporate that in the heritage program. In giving our mint, part of it is giving our ideas. And those ideas are part of, what we have lived as the older generation, and conserving or preserving that heritage, and making sure it passes on to future generations. And I think that is certainly something that is very dear to my heart. And I feel it is very, very, very critical for us to pull together the good parts of what we want to have continue, and be able to put it together in a way that we can disseminate it easily through to the next generation, whether it's through the mentorship that we spoke about earlier, but the heritage programs and incorporating the whole concept of giving our mint, I think, is a good plan that we can also incorporate into what we develop.
I think it's important that whatever we do, it's fun.
Yes.
So that it will be enjoyed by both. It's fun. It's not a scheduled, formal practice. It's formal but informal. If you get my gist. Say, for example, a class of students can go to the village, and the mothers or the grandparents of the village will take them to and show them what this does for them, what this can do, etc. So it becomes informal. Or even start a garden, a small garden, that they have herbs and various other things, and what it's good for. And also, one of the things that we really need to take mindful of is documentation. We do not document anything. So when it comes to finding out what this bark does or what this bush does, we don't know, because it's not documented. So we need to start documenting, things, so that it can transcend down to generation as a true copy of what everything's supposed to be. We need to document.
Yep.
Thank you. And let me add a little more. Now I'm getting started again. Okay. Yeah. By what you said something about using traditional methods, medicinal methods to treat ourselves. And the reason we are in Nkrumah is because some of these things we have the how do you call it, the blueprint. Nkrumah started combining the traditional treatment methods with the contemporary. Okay. And it's not that we don't have these traditional healers in the country, but they're not organized. There's one clinic right next to my town. Okay, they do research into these things, and they are actually a hospital. There are some Ghanaians who've been using traditional medicine to treat their patients since the 1950s. But we don't think about the researching into these things and then making it available in a commercial form to the people, or even within our hospitals and things like that. So, we're talking about the Heritage Foundation or Power program. These are things that we're going to stress, because I don't think we even bring these traditional healers into our universities where they can talk about some of these things and document them. Documentation is very important also. But we don't see them as teachers or as lecturers or as professors. We see them as medicine men and healers who live in the village. So even the people themselves several times are afraid to go to these people for the healing, methods, or to see them, because they are not included in the contemporary in the modern system of healing and treating people. So it is there. Most of the things that we're talking about here that you learn in Jamaica from your grandparents is something God has given us from generations that we have. So having a outhouse, or outhouse, these things you build outside to plant things year round. Yeah, greenhouses. Okay, I think we can do all of that, but it takes political leadership. That political leadership is not available. This is what I also think PAG should step into that vacuum. The NDC and the NPP, they don't care about it. They just want to call the Chinese and go and buy anything, okay, without using our own skills and our own talents that we have from generations. That doesn't stop us from, dealing with the West or anybody. But we have to be able to use our own skills, because these traditional healers are there in Ghana. Prekese, somebody just called me and said I should use Prekese in my food. So I bought some, but I don't know how to prepare it. So that thing is sitting here. So if any one of you know, tell me how to use Prekese for healing myself, doing something. But those things are there. So Mariam Wudasi, I hope I'll meet you, or all of us will meet you one of these days when we visit Ghana. Invite you to come and have a meeting with us. And,
Where are you based? Where are you based?
Oh, right now I'm in San Francisco, way out there in California.
Okay.
But in Ghana, I'm in Accra. Everybody's in Accra when I come to Ghana. Yeah.
But you are on our system, and so when we have our town halls and events, we hope you will continue to participate and join.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
San Francisco, you must know Kofi Tewia.
I've heard his name, but I don't know Kofi Tewia. He lives in San Jose area, right?
Okay.
Yeah, Kofi Tewia is in San Jose area.
We have to get him on board.
Okay, yeah. I think he's on one of my forums, or one of the forums that I am a member of. So if you know him, I'll send one of our flyers, on that forum. But when it comes to politics, politics in everybody's blood. But some of us, we have it's in our DNA. So there are a whole lot of people. If you buy them and then you talk about politics, they start being friends with you. So you have to be careful, especially if you are a CPP and Nkrumah, they think you are somebody from outer space. Talk about Nkrumah. So. I know about Kofi Tewia. Tewia, I heard the name. He's on our forum. Yeah, but are you here in California too?
No, I come to California. I'm on the East Coast, but I come there a lot.
Okay, all right.
I go to
I'm in San Francisco Bay Area.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Can I just add, say something to Wudasi, Miriam? I think we can have a very long discussion. For the time being, kindly send me your contact information. My email address is kofrob@yahoo.com. I'm currently the interim secretary for PAG. So I would like to make sure that your contact information is in our system. So kindly send me send me the information, especially the email address.
Yeah, she's muted.
I'm sure she said me, yeah. Hello.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's it.
So we have had a good, long, in-depth discussion, and I think this has been very, very useful, very helpful. I think you'll all agree that we've learned an awful lot. We've raised a lot of issues that we need to follow up on and use to shape the direction of the PAG and in particular, the heritage clubs that we've been talking about. At this time, If there are no other questions, I think we will wrap up and close the meeting.
Yeah. And start preparing for the next session.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Bye.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Very well.
Have a good rest of the day, rest of the week.
Yeah.
And
we'll see some of you at meeting tonight.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Okay. Everybody that was here for the first time, good morning and good afternoon and good evening. I'm going back to sleep until the next meeting.
Okay.
All right.
Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.